so now let's move on to the next area, which is model-based definition. Okay, so as I said, there's been a big focus on this ever since wildfire days. The standards continually evolving, and so we're seeing functionality being added into first wildfire, now Creo, to keep up with that. Okay, so in terms of what's new in Creo 10, okay, so lots of focus on really sort of that capturing that information. Okay, so Creo 10's new options around relating items together. Okay, so symbols and surface finish annotations to other annotations in MBD, so that they can stay stuck together when they move around, which is very handy. Performance improvements. So Daniel actually showed this in the previous demonstration. Okay, so basically some sort of back-end performance tuning to make drawings retrieve quicker, okay, and display quicker when you're working with them, and also when you're switching around sheets. I guess related to the MBD data exchange. Okay, so obviously send out data through Creo people through Creo files, but in terms of general stuff, step AP242 is the best option in terms of capturing all of that PMI or annotation information. Okay, so again, updates to basically include additional surface references, so what we call the semantics. So essentially, when you pick on the annotation, it will show you all of the geometry that the annotation is controlling or affecting. So again, that consistency between Creo and the step format, as you can see there in the screenshots. Some other options are also related to detailing in MBD. So GD&T Advisor was introduced recently in Creo. Okay, so this is a tool for essentially checking that all of your geometric dimensioning tolerancing that you're doing inside your model is correct and accurate, and that you have captured everything you need to do. Okay, so a ton of enhancements inside Creo 10. Okay, so a big one, a big sort of overhaul of the UI. Okay, so GT Advisor is generated by a third party, but it runs completely embedded inside Creo. Okay, so essentially an update to make sure that's consistent with the Creo UI. Big improvement in semantic definitions. As I said before, this is the option around when I pick on an annotation or a dimension or a tolerance, or whatever, showing me which actual bits of geometry are affected by that particular dimension. Okay. Other options, okay, so basically just general dimension creation. So we can actually create dimensions in the in levels of GD&T Advisor. Okay, so basically expanding that out inside with holes inside Creo 10. So expanding on what was there in Creo 9. Essentially, as I said, these standards are continually changing. Dimensioning standards, GD&T standards, everything. So I guess now basically improve compliance with those detailing standards. So both the ISO options are shown here in the slide, and also ANSI standards. Okay, working with your panels. So one of the things you'll see in the demonstration is Daniel runs through this. One of the really nice things about GD&T Advisor is that it really sort of highlights for you and shows you the areas that need focus, like what you're missing, what you have to do. So there's also now some new options around automatically expanding out those panels to make sure that you're essentially don't have to go and click in there yourself, reducing that mouse travel and menu clicks. Okay. All right, some new contextual commands as well when you're working within things. Support for object action workflows when you're creating tolerance features, so you don't have to go action object. Like to work that way better. And also basically in terms of the admin side of things now, basically that management through an XML file to point to that centralized location config document. Okay, so you can have everyone follow the controls. Also related to this is the easy tolerance analysis. Okay, so this replaced the old tolerance analysis extension back a few releases ago now in Creo. So this is for doing essentially your 1D tolerance stacks to make sure all of your fits are going to work. Okay, going to get your Six Sigma basically quality in terms of your bell curve and what you're going to achieve in terms of yield from your product. Okay, so again, here in the screenshot, an update in terms of just general workflow and UI looking, better visualization of the stack ups when you're going through the creation of that compared to Creo 9 and earlier versions of Creo. Once you're inside the stack up, basically more options for editing with those stack ups. So changing the annotation plane to move the dimensions around, so you can very quickly and easily update them. Other productivity things, so one of the big ones is around component naming. Okay, so you can link or unlink that from the Creo file name. So some people might want to break that and put their own customized naming to help better understand what you're looking at. So then you can do it that way. But link names are the default. Okay, in Creo 10. Your reporting. Okay, so basically statistical analysis plots now include all of the quality metrics shown there. You can see there in the left corner. Also, in terms of just general stack-up definition, so automatic creation of those dimension loops when you work with the linear dimensions. Okay, so just general improvements. Other things, like I said, tons of things in here. Improve stack-up details in terms of including your material modifiers now. They're in effect in the stack-up table. And then if you want to move beyond this, so if you want to go into the full CE-Tol 6 Sigma product, which includes basically your full 3D tolerance stacks outside the scope of what's in Creo. So again, support exporting that into file format, taking that into CE. Okay. That's a little bit on the MBD side. So I'll hand back over to Daniel, and he can show some of this. So Daniel, over to you.
Thank you, Alan. All right, let's get into it again. This is a mounting bracket within the Hills helicopter dataset. First, we're going to look at just some improvements made to model-based definition. Now, for you that are not aware of model-based definition, it is an approach to create 3D models so that they effectively contain all data needed to define a product. With model-based definition, the model becomes the source authority that drives all engineering activities. This model may further be used downstream by suppliers and across organizations within an enterprise. Now, if we have a look down here, we can see there are various model combination states with various information on the page. We can see general notes, general tolerances, and these type of things that are displayed. We've also got the security marking at the top here, and that security marking is made flat to screen, which means it will display on all the pages that are shown in this combination set below. All right, so if we go and start off now, for you that have worked with model-based definition before, I'm going to make some changes here and show you how easy it is in Creo 10 to relate dimensions and general tolerances from one to another. So firstly, let's take this little index symbol here, we copy it, and we say I want to go and relate it to that annotation. And again, I can go and change that one and just make it 2. So it'll now display as 2. I can go and take this surface finish here and go and say, all right, I want to relate it to this one as well. It creates that little snap line, and I've related it to that annotation. Now, if I go and move this one, they're all related and they move together. So again, made it very easy in Creo 10 to go and do this. Now, for those of you that are concerned about model-based definition and still create drawings, that's no problem. We can have a look at this model, and then we can go and open up our drawing, and we see that our drawing also updates, and we can create a drawing of our model-based definition information as well. Okay, so you can create both if you so choose to. All right, so there I've shown a bit about just relating one annotation set to another and how easy it is to go and do that. Let's now move on, and we'll go and move now to general dimensioning tolerancing within Creo 10. Okay, so In Creo 10, if we have a look at our user interface here, in Creo 10, the GD&T advisor icons have been modernized. We can see here on the left-hand side with the color scheme, and we've also got information that can be displayed here. We've got our fixture feature tree at the top here. Okay, if we move down now and we look at our model now, we could always go and show the constraint state. So we can see that this model, the green areas have been fully constrained and are no longer controlled via the general profile tolerance up here. And then the ones that we need to constrain, or that are still constrained by the general profile tolerance, up here are these surfaces in blue. What we also can do now within Creo 10 and general dimension and tolerancing is we've got this general profile tolerance, and we can do a semantic query here, and we can see here that the gray areas have already been defined, and the maroon areas we need to go and define, and they're still currently controlled by the general profile tolerance. All right, so let's start and let's go and create some general tolerancing and dimensioning. So I'm going to take this shaft here and say I want to go and add a tolerance feature to that. I can go and define it. Now, nice thing again, it's with these new colors here, I can see that it's looking for the information there. So I can say 0.1. I want to have it maximum material condition here. And I'm going to choose this as datum A, B, and C. So what we also want to go and add is I want to go and add cylindricity here. And let's say that that's about 0.2. And I can go and place that dimension with the information related to it. And I'm going to orientate it because remember, we also want to create a drawing and we want to make it easy visible for people that are going to be looking at this information. Now I can go and right click on this and say move to plane and just select the plane in which I want to move that annotation to. I can right click on it again and let's say show as linear because I'd like to pull it down and place it, let's say over there, so it's easy to see. All right, so now that we've done that, let's just go back to our semantic query and we can go and see that that top section has now been defined, that top shaft section. The next one, I'm going to just select the surface and go and create another tolerance feature on that surface. Again, it tells me what it's looking for. I'm going to say line profile, and I'm just going to make that 0.2, and I'm going to accept that as is. Okay. Now I can go down to the right here and go and say, just go and select my annotation. So I can go and say, all right, annotation, and select the annotation, makes it easy to select it. And I can change the, I can move it to plane. So I can change the orientation, move it to plane so that it's just easy to go and view. Sorry, I just want to change that back to geometry. And I can go and grab this one and place it down there. Now you'll see once I've done that in the advisory tree down here, once I've done it, it monitors you as you go along and you place your general tolerances and dimensions. It actually monitors and says, okay, well, that one that you've just placed, we need an intersecting plane. Now, if I double click on this, this is a really nice feature in Creo 10. It takes you to the help page immediately. And it says when defining the tolerance, so it tells you what it is, and then it also tells you how to go and correct it. So we can go to this one here and say, well, we need an orientation, an intersecting plane, sorry, not an orientation. So we need an intersecting plane. So I'm going to select an intersecting plane and I'll make it parallel. And in this case, I'm just going to make it to datum B and accept that. And if we update it, you'll see that that disappears, that it's now being corrected. All right, so we can also see here that in our advisory tree, it says model contains annotation mismatches. Again, nice feature. We can double click on it and it'll say what the issue is. It opens it up immediately and it says go and fix it with model annotations. So let's go and have a look, and we go and say model annotations, and it highlights that there's two annotations that need some work. So the first one we're going to select here, it's this one at the bottom, and it says additional text above differs from the expected value. Now there's this flatness is indicated, but there's two surfaces. It's that one there and then we can see it's this one on the inside there as well. Okay, so let's go and update that one, and we just say, all right, let's select it, and update selected. You'll see it adds that 2 times for those 2 surfaces. So now that's properly defined. And let's just change our orientation to the top, and we'll go and have a look at this one here. So again, this one, it says, all right, on these diameter 8 holes, it can see that there's 4 of these holes, but it's not indicated in the general dimensioning and tolerancing annotation set. So we can go and update that, and it's puts those 4 holes in because it's seen those 4 holes, it recognizes them. But now we've got these 4 places here, which is just plain text, so we can go and select that and say, well, we don't need that 4 places anymore, and we can just go and delete that. And we can go and update the model, and we see that that message is now no longer there. Now we see that there's one more thing here, and if we double click on that, it says the specified geometric characteristic symbol is not allowed in the selected tolerancing standard. So we need to also go and fix that. And again, it gives you the steps on how to go and fix that. So I want to go up to this hole here, the simple hole 2, and I'm going to edit this dimension. And I'm going to say, all right, that is the incorrect position. I want to place it as symbol, as the position, sorry, with maximum material condition. And again, I'm going to make this one, I'll just select it, maybe, yep, okay. So we'll go and place that one like that. But also what I would like to do with this hole is I'm going to say, I don't want any of the tolerance zone on the shape or width, and I can go and select that and say, all right, I'm happy with that. Now, if I update my model here, it says, all right, you've gone and done that, but now an orientation plane indicator is required. So again, it's tracking everything that I'm doing, and it's telling me I need an orientation plane. So again, I'm going to select on it. I'm going to go to my indicators, and I will now go and add an orientation plane. And I'm just going to say that this one I want it perpendicular, and in this case, I know I need it to AA, and I can go and select that and update. And now that we've updated that, you can see that the all the model-based definition, the dimensioning and tolerancing has been corrected, and our model is ready to send out. Again, we can go and do a semantic query and see, okay, these surfaces still need to be defined. If we wanted to do that, we can still do that. But as you can see, all the things that we've worked on now have been defined properly and are no longer part of this general profile tolerance. One other thing that I actually forgot to mention that I just also would like to mention, if we go up to this simple hole 1, if I wanted to make that simple hole 1 a datum feature, I can just select it out of my feature tree, right click and say set it as a datum feature. I'm going to select a D as my symbol. It'll go and place it there. I can then go and say, all right, I don't want to actually place it there. I want to put it on this leader line. I want to attach it to that leader line. Just drag to where you want it and middle mouse button to place it. And there we've placed that as a datum feature. All right, so that's the new functionality, really nice functionality with general dimensioning and tolerancing and model-based definition with Creo 10.